Hey, this is Rayo, and just a testimony. Testimony big time. Just came out the hospital yesterday at about 2, 2 o'clock. I got home. And I had to switch hospitals. I went from Duke Hospital in Raleigh to Rex Hospital on Lake Boot Train in Raleigh. Got there on Saturday about 10:30. Was admitted till yesterday till about 2 o'clock. 1:30, I think I left. 1 o'clock I left and got here by 2. And it's interesting because God is good. I'm still alive. God is good. I'm still alive. That's a testimony. Um, July 2nd, I had gone to Duke and I had abdominal pains, and they ran a CT scan and they showed that I was overloaded with fluid, overloaded with caca. I just wasn't doing good, but they didn't hospitalize me. They sent me home from the ED department with some 5 medications and some laxatives. But I don't know if you guys know anything about heart failure. Fluid retention can mean life and death in heart failure. Heart failure came from February when I got influenza. Yeah, influenza just about took me out of this world. The heart just got plummeted. I mean, it just got banged. It just went. And I was already borderline to begin with. My heart, my body's not the best to begin with. So it's not like I had excellent physique. I wasn't the Fabio, no. I was the Fatio, not Fabio. And so when the influenza came, it just took the little bit of strength that I had out. And the testimony is this: God allowed me and put it in my mind to switch hospitals when July 2nd. The CT scan came in. I went in for abdominal pain. I didn't know if it was the liver, diaphragm, gallbladder. I don't know what it was. It was painful. I was full of poop. Even my intestines were full of poop and water. They were about to bust. My body, according to their own CT scan, was overflowing with fluid then. But they decided not to keep me to get drained of fluid. No. They sent me home. Go home, little boy. Well, that could have been the end. Oh. But God allowed me to stay alive. And I went to Rex the second, this past Saturday. And, night and day. As soon as the doctor saw me, he's like, nice white dude. Like, you ain't going home. I said, I know. She said, you being admitted. And I said, I know. I know I'm being admitted. I knew the medicine wasn't working. In May, when I got out, they put me on this medication Duke Hospital did. And they knew the medication was weak. They knew it wasn't effective. They knew it wasn't going to work. So it was a question of time that I would return. But unfortunately, within 10 days of taking the medication, I started developing some interactions. I mean, here's the thing. If you go to a physical therapist, they say we want to work on your left arm to get a strength. But the problem is you're an amputee. You don't have a left arm. You're gonna have a problem. You want me to go to physical therapy with a left arm that I don't have, and that's the same thing with the medications and so forth. You want to depend on a GI, gastrointestinal system that doesn't work. My body just doesn't work. I mean, these GI systems, so you're dependent on medication to be absorbed by a GI system that doesn't work. And I'm telling you these things, but you don't listen. So then all of a sudden, when the GI, what ended up happening is when I was taking the medication, it's like intestinal paralysis. I didn't feel the when you eat, you feel it moving along, and you hear it moving along. I was like in immediate paralysis of my GI. I said, oh, it is not good. And so when I would poop, hard rocks, I would poop, and it's like this. If you ever get something so full that stuff comes out just because it's over full, not because it's actually being excreted out. It's just too much stuff. It's just you get these remnants coming out, little poops that are just saying, "Hey, look, you're overflowing, and there's no room, so we're just gonna push this little bit out." And that's what the intestines was doing. It didn't have strength to go ahead and push poop out. So I backed up, and their CT scan showed you're full of poop, but they didn't take out the poop either. Crazy thing. Well, let me tell you that God put it in my mind, in my heart, to switch doctors. I did. Went to Rex night and day. They saw me. They're like, "You're in distress. We're putting you in." Immediately, wasn't a question. Oh my God, the service is so much better. Let me give you an example. You know, the diuretics cause me to go to the bathroom a lot. So they got to put like an oversized condom basically on me. And basically it covers the area. And it draws the, by vacuum, air vacuum, the pee into a bottle. And the medicine, Lasix, oh boy. Alright. Lasix is designed to pull fluid from your body. And so bottles were filling up with water as soon as they started giving it to me in the emergency room. And the bag was pulling the pee into the bottle. Awesome. Worked. They didn't have to change that bag at all. They put it on right to begin with, during the whole stay. Never had a leakage. That's awesome. That's one example. Second example is this: is that hit the button when I'm in on the floor for surfs, whatever I needed. It actually came. The food was actually good. The room was actually clean. Food good, clean environment, responsive people, and biggest thing was the doctors. This time they seem to have listened. Seem to. I don't know. It's still an unwritten book. Seem to have listened. They said this time, if you have a reaction to the medication, if you verify that your stomach just can't handle it, we'll have you admitted and get the fluid out. No questions asked. That's a different dialogue. That's a different dialogue. And 2 days ago when the doctor asked me, he said, "Anything else I can do for you?" I said, "Can you take the poop out?" Oh my gosh, she had them take the poop out. 4 to 5 pounds of poop. I can't tell you, 2 to 3 days worth of not pooping. I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes. How much of a better feeling I had. Oh my God, when that stuff came out. And then after that, just before I left, because of everything they gave me, I had a soft poop, a big soft poop. My blood pressure, without all the poop, is now in the 111 territory. 110, 111. No poop, no fluid. I mean, I was like a big old watermelon, I tell you the truth. Everything was nice, big, and soft, so to speak. But now I'm a prune. My feet are no longer swollen, they're just dried up little prunes. My legs, so a lot of portions of my body were big, plump, and fat, are just now totally dried up prunes. And God is good because the water is gone. I'm feeling better. But bottom line is this, is that we live in an age where you have to, as a patient, do your due diligence for love and for yourself. And find that right doctor. Not all doctors are created. I mean, Rex got a Dr. Atkin. Oh my gosh, she seems to listen. Is responsive. Not only that, dude, I had a room full of 7 doctors. Some of them were interns and whatever. But there are at least 2 MDs. And to hear the MD articulate stuff in the file, that made me know he actually read the file. He knows what's in there. I don't have to explain. He already read the file, articulated it to his students, to his interns. That is icing on the cake right there. Because when you understand that you can have a file with all the data, but if the doctor doesn't read it, the data isn't worth nothing. Here, what I found is Dr. Atkin, Dr. whatever guy, the other guy was, I forget her name. It's the heart failure team. They actually read the file. You can tell. They articulated it. They regurgitated it. They knew what was in there. And God is good. It's a miracle. So, testimony is this: I'm alive. Thank God. Through the grace of God, by the grace of God. And so I'm feeling much better. They took out about 12 pounds of fluid. Just water. 12 pounds. I went in at 222.5. Left out at about 210. So, God is good. They wanted me to stay longer, but I got issues at home. Issues the dog. And just to give you an example, the dog is going through trauma. But God is good. God is good. So, testimony is, I'm alive, doing better. But here's the thing. Testimony in the counsel is also the counsel of this. Be careful if your loved one is not doing well with the doctor that you're with. You might want to try a different doctor, a different facility, because not all doctors are created equal. Some of them are just overwhelmed. And there's other hospitals with teams that are more. Not only that, in the hospital, not only was it a better environment, the food was awesome. Oh my gosh, I could eat at that hospital food all day long. Here's the thing: is that I could tell that those workers seemed to be content, that there was a system of support. Whereas at the hospitals, you couldn't see or feel that, and it's different. Rex, the ED department, in the hospital environment was totally different because they knew they had a system, they knew they had supports, and they knew what people need to be doing and what they not to be doing. So it's interesting because that support for the workers translates into better patient environment in terms of what services you get. And not only that, it also translates in terms of like the medical teams. Your experience, my experience as a patient, I feel like I got listened to, and things are being put in place just in case. But they wanted to do a heart transplant. No. No, we're not going there, right? You're not going to crack my chest open. If God decides to take me home, so be it. But I believe in miracles. I believe He's alive. I believe He can do it. So, I like to trust in Him. And talk about, we can put you on the transplant list. You're a good candidate. No, I'm not a good candidate. I'm the guy with the missing arm. You're dependent on a system, a body that's supposed to process medications that just can't. So, hope this helps. Thank God I'm alive. Thank God that's the testimony. And counsel is this: be careful with your loved ones. Take care. Bye.